Well, the Attorney General, in my opinion, is in the act of racketeering, using mafia-type methods. They're acting as a collection agency for hospitals and private individuals, just like in this case where somebody complains that they have money coming, and even though this should be a civil issue, they stepped in. They created a case where there was no case. There was no venue in Utah to begin with, yet they've made this their business. Yet other things that are happening in the state they ignore. It appears that if you're a non-church-going person of their choosing here, that you are kicked out to be prosecuted, or if you happen to be black. There's a high number in jail and here at the hospital of black people versus the population. So the civil rights issues here are phenomenal. But it goes back to the racketeering. They're acting as a collection agency where they don't have to take you to court. They can go into court and just lie and say, oh, well, we already had a discussion with them. They said they owe the money. We just need a judgment. We're seizing their bank accounts or their cars. And they just do it. And they've been getting away with it for quite some time. The attorneys in this state are all members of the Bar Association, and in my opinion at this point, I'd have to say it's one crooked organization, because when you have attorneys like the one attorney who lied to me, which we have his tape recording up on the internet, that's Gil Affey. He's supposed to be representing me, but when he was asked, can you account for your time, he said, I don't have to account to anybody for my time. Just give me another 20, 25 grand. So he's the chairman of the Public Defenders Association, and even though I have had attorneys brought on board, the judge now is saying that we're not allowed to have an attorney represent me, that only the public defender can, so that he can protect his buddy here, Mr. Hill and Mr. Gil Affey, which is another reason that we had to bring criminal charges against the judge in a 1983 action in federal court, because the judge came right out and said that in his courtroom, the Bill of Rights and the United States Constitution don't apply to people like me. So, yeah, we've had some real problems with this judge. The fact that we told him that the venue was not in Utah and he's ignored it. I told him that I'm not being properly represented by any of these people that he keeps hiring or appointing. I informed him that I have the right, according to the state's constitution, to have my own attorney, but that he doesn't have the right to hire an attorney unless I can't afford one, and he has to hold an indigency hearing, which he never did. But no matter what you tell this judge, he smiles and says, I can do what I want in my own courtroom. This isn't the first time. This is like the fifth judge I've had here in Utah since I've been here that has come out and said, this is my courtroom, then I do what I want in here. Now, even though there wasn't a restraining order involved with Molly and I at the time, the judge, Judge Royal Hanson, went ahead and imposed, without a hearing for one, an extension of this non-existent restraining order telling me I couldn't even talk to my wife at the time. That was back in August of 2005, or in December also. He said I couldn't talk to her. There was only about a one-week period in there that he finally understood that there was no restraining order. There hadn't been one all along. It was made up. But that pretty much wrecked the marriage, where it could never be saved at this point, because, of course, my wife, not getting any support, assumed that I was doing this intentionally, not that it was a court order. The judges in this state are above the law, and there are committees that enforce these rules and judicial conduct and misconduct are headed up by the same judge. Now here you've got a judge who says, we're not going to let anyone prosecute a judge or make it public knowledge. We're going to let the judge retire so he doesn't have to face charges. And any judge who retires doesn't have to face charges. There's something wrong with the system here. when they encourage policemen and other people like the doctors here at this hospital and Susan Eisman just to stand up and say, oh, well, everything is pre-existing conditions. No, the man really didn't break his toe at the hospital. No, the man didn't lose all his teeth at the hospital. Excuse me, these aren't pre-existing conditions. All of these defects happen because of the torturous condition here at the hospital. Over and over, these people have lied about the patients here, and when they don't want to do something, they just write down whatever they want in the report, saying, oh, well, patient refused to go to the doctor today. Patient refused to go to his group today. When, in fact, they didn't get off their bottoms to take the person to group, or they didn't want to drive the person. The court records show that I refused to go to court one day. But the truth is, I was in the emergency room. I had had a stroke, and they were putting nitro pills under my tongue. So no, it wasn't a question of my refusal to go to court. The court did not want me there. They went ahead and had a hearing without me, and that was when the judge appointed Karen Stem and Joan Watt to be the public pretenders. They're supposed to be representing me. Now, this last week, the appellate court said that they had turned over the entire file folder from my case to Joan Watt for her review, and that her and Karen had full access to it all, and the courts no longer had any copies. Why would the courts turn over their only records to the case to the same attorneys who are not helping me? I have a problem with that. I want to know now how much of that case have they modified while it was in their custody. Now, I'm hoping soon we can get an attorney in here that can assist us in getting this together who isn't afraid of the repercussions